and welcome to Rave History. Today we're going to look at the design of forms. It is perhaps one of the most impressive things about the knowledge itself. When I received this knowledge, I didn't receive human design. I was given the design of forms. There are various kinds of auric forms that function on this plane. We are one of them. That is, we, us nine-centered beings. But then there is the design of mammals. And the design of mammals is something that is absolutely fascinating. And their design is very, very different than ours. We operate through a 64-gate matrix. They operate through a 15-gate matrix. And yet we have something deeply, deeply in common with the mammalian design. That is, we share with them a configuration when we sleep. And yet they have their own way in which they operate on this plane relative to their specific form. There is a unique design form for reptiles and fish, as an example, and birds. There is a unique form for insects. There is a unique form for plants. The design of plants is truly fascinating. I can remember many years ago in Boulder, Colorado, to a group of botany students, teaching them about the design of plants. I mean, so totally different from the way in which they understand the nature of the plant world, yet at the same time, how extraordinary it is to understand the way in which a plant is designed. And in that, to be able to see something rather remarkable. Plants can be germinated to specific designs, to be able to provide specific processes or connections, if you will, to humans. I always found it strange that herbal remedies, that all of these various plant remedies that people use, that they use a dead plant. I mean, you know, the plant is killed, it's processed in one way or another. The fact is that in understanding the design of a plant, as an example, it is possible to be able to have a plant with specific medicinal values, designed in such a way that it connects to your design, and that quite literally all you need to do is to make physical contact with it regularly. It's the interesting thing about the aura of a plant, that the aura of plants are very, very condensed, that they are pulled right back to the surface. Any gardener with a green thumb knows that you've got to touch plants to communicate with them. All these forms, they are unique. There is a unique design for the single cell. For the single cell. And it's something to grasp about the design of the single cell, that it can be so deeply influenced by transits. That all of the cells in our bodies, in one way or another, are responding to the vast programming that's out there that we experience as our genetic experience on this plane. There is a design for the inanimate object. It's interesting, the relationship between the inanimate object and the single cell. The single cell is the first living form. And the first living form has a channel as a potential, the 15-5, the universal 15-5 that sets the pattern for all life. The moment that there is a potential of a channel, there's a potential for the life force. The inanimate object has a single gate. It happens to be the 25th gate, the gate of universal love. But most unusual, most extraordinary are the transauric forms. There are two transauric forms. They're called Penta and Wa. In human design, you see very clearly that when two human beings come together, that there is a juxtaposition created, a partnership graph that emerges, that defines the qualities of their relationship and their connection to each other. But the moment that you have three, the moment that you begin to build a family, as an example, that the moment you have three, you have something called a penta. It is a transauric form. Any grouping of 3, 4, or 5 human beings, automatically out of that grouping, a transauric form emerges called Penta. and that Penta has enormous sway over that group. Penta forms the basis in human design of family analysis, and it forms the basis of business analysis. And then there's Wa, the most extraordinary of all, the largest of the trans-auric forms. It begins with any grouping of 9 people or more. Between 9 and 16 human beings form a Wa, a crowd, if you will, the group of people in the shopping center, whatever it may be, the people in the church or sitting in the Congress. Wherever you see these groupings, there is a trans-auric form at work. And it is the Wa, more than anything else, that determines the nature of human interaction. We live in a form-dominated world. It is the magic of this knowledge to see the mechanics of them, and in that, to be able to provide each and every one of us with techniques to be able to live our lives to the fullest.